you can connect with your baby's soul even before you conceive. We've lost this connection that this is a sacred procedure.
Really stepping into your goddess creator self.
You can't go into motherhood being the same person that you were as a maiden.
Labor, enter into the portal, face your greatest fear and pain.
We can never grow until we go past our comfort zone.
Whatever comes my way, I can handle it. Postpartum anxiety, depression. The final phase, can you do it?
This is an opportunity for me to let go of what I've been carrying that's no longer serving me. When you're on the other side of that, you're like, oh, I feel like I'm who I'm supposed to be now.
I love it. Jen, thank you so much for being here, being the second guest on G-Mode On. It is such an honor to have you here. Jen is my personal trainer. She was my doula, helped with the pregnancy and the delivery process with my second child, Sia. And she is such a special human in my life and has really helped me step into my best and highest self. So, of course, I'm going to have her as a guest. So, Jen, welcome. Let's dive in.
Thank you.
Can you share a little bit about your path, what led you to become a personal fitness trainer and a doula?
Yes. So fitness has always been a really monumental thing in my life and has been this like outlet for me both mentally, emotionally, and physically. And so I've always loved fitness. So I came to a point in my life where I was looking for a job that was low stress because previous jobs that I had had were really high stress and really high stakes. So I was like, you know what? Follow my passion. I'm going to be a personal trainer. And naturally, I started training with women because I like to learn through experiencing in my own body. And I absolutely love working with women. And in the course of doing that, I started working with a lot of moms. So people that were trying to conceive or a lot of postpartum moms who had been postpartum for a handful of years and were trying to get back into fitness, but felt like they couldn't, their body wasn't the same anymore. And so I got a special certificate studying how to work with prenatal, so like during pregnancy and postpartum moms and the different specific changes that your body is going through and how to repair the core and how to like repair the pelvic floor and all of these things so that you can have a very functional body and then you can hit these personal fitness goals that you have. And I really love working with moms. So I decided that I wanted to be more in the birth world. And this was before I had a kid of my own. And I discovered that a doula was a thing. I didn't even know it was a thing. And basically what a doula is it's a coach. So I'm already have that down and I'm really good at it. And they help educate and prepare the mom and the mom's partner, whether that's dad or partner or best friend or mother, whoever that is, help them prepare for their labor and delivery, coach them through their labor, and then assist them postpartum. And so when I kind of discovered that this was a thing, it fit so perfectly with what I was already doing.
Yeah.
And then I did some research and I discovered that there isn't really that combination of like professionals around.
Right.
So I was really excited to like dive into that and I am loving it.
It's so perfect and so helpful. She was my trainer for 3 years prior, before I got pregnant. And when I got pregnant and she just started becoming a doula and I'm like, hello. Like, of course I'm going to work with my trainer that knows my body, how to get my body to the best shape ever and how to move properly and how to, flow and to listen with my body. Of course, I'm going to have you as my doula. So yes, absolutely amazing. So perfect. What do you feel is missing from the mainstream conversation around pregnancy and postpartum?
So I think that the main thing that we're missing is we've lost this connection that this is a sacred procedure. Personally, like in my 20s, first of all, being a mother is kind of taken for granted.
Yeah.
And it's something that a lot of people are afraid of or a lot of people want to avoid because they feel like their life is going to be over and they're trying to be like a boss babe and all that kind of stuff. And I honor that big time. Like I know what that hustle is and I know how important it is to like become the person that you are.
Yeah.
But I think that in the process of doing that, we've forgotten that this is sacred and that this is by design, and it's so beautiful. It's beautiful like physically, it's beautiful emotionally and spiritually. And I think that where we've gone awry and what we're missing is that it seems to be so fear-based. When I work with my clients, and it's okay to have fear, right? Like everybody's got that fear, but if something is fear-based, how can it become something beautiful, right? So that's been like a huge realization in me with working with people, and also like discovering in myself that this doesn't have to be scary, and this doesn't have to be terrible. You know, like even when it's hard, it doesn't have to be terrible. And I feel like that's a big narrative that's just underlining in like Hollywood and in what we hear on social media and all of this kind of stuff. And I do feel like there's this resurgence of like, motherhood is sacred and beautiful and all of this stuff that's kind of starting to come to light, which is so exciting, but it's been missing.
Well, I'm on the tail end of postpartum.
Right.
But looking back, I can really view it as a sacred ceremony.
Absolutely.
That I just went through. From having a horrible, excruciating, painful, torturous pregnancy. I was so sick for 4 months, could barely move, puking 24/7, nauseous 24/7. All of my limiting beliefs and fears and anxieties that I thought I'd cleared had come to the surface. And labor, dude, it's fucking scary. It is scary and so hard and so painful. But that is a portal. Like my last guest, we were just talking about portals, eclipse portals, and that's where you can really quantum leap. And when you walk towards the fear while you're in a portal, that's where you can really expand the most. That's where you can really grow the most. When you walk towards your edge, that is the thing that you are going to propel forward. So labor being a portal, postpartum being an initiation. And for me, both of my children, I had postpartum anxiety and depression. And instead of looking at it as a negative thing, what if we looked at it as literally an initiation, that our child came in to our body, into our womb space, pushed up all the toxins physically by purging them out, emotionally by experiencing raging hormones.
And so many tears.
And so many tears and so many fears. I mean, I know this isn't for every mom. Everybody's journey is different, but this is mine. So if you can relate to me, holla. I believe my baby pushed it up, the energetic toxins, the physical toxins, for me to transform them, because she was such a high vibrational being. And she's like, no, I'm not gonna hang out in your womb and grow and become the person I wanna be in your space with all this old trauma. Like, I'm coming in to elevate you. So push it out, feel it, release it, transform, labor, enter into the portal, go to your edge, like face your greatest fear and pain, fucking walk through the veil. Then the initiation process, postpartum anxiety, depression, the final phase. Can you do it? Because if you can do it, then you're going to become the mother that you're truly meant to become for yourself, your family, and your kids. That powerhouse of a woman. Would you agree?
I agree, absolutely. So when you talked about like the portal, we can never grow until we go past our comfort zone. And that comfort zone looks so different for everybody. So I like to kind of think about it like when moms will come to me and they're in this excruciating place, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, or all of them, or any combination of them. Your egg will never get bigger and you will never expand out of that unless it cracks. And so sometimes people experience, like, I remember with you, it was this like thing where you felt like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like when you hit that edge, this I can't do this anymore edge, and you can imagine that it's something that you can bust through and you can walk over that ledge or you can crack that open, then you expand and you become bigger of a person and you become the next person that you're supposed to be. You can't go into motherhood being the same person that you were as a maiden or even as like a mother going into the mother of another human being. Like, if you've experienced this or you're in the midst of experience this, you can relate to this feeling of there is grief when you're like changing, but there's also can be so much excitement in it. And when you can attest, when you're on the other side of that, you're like, oh, I feel like I'm who I'm supposed to be now.
Yeah.
And you can be so full of love and so selfless, which is an amazing attribute to like experience in yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and like, I never felt anything like that until I became a mother. You know, as altruistic and benevolent as I tried to be as an individual and a person, when I became a mother, those things just became second nature and I didn't have to try for them anymore. So like everybody's like breaking out of their shell is different, but it totally is. It's this portal that forces you, whether you're ready or not, to expand.
So what lights you up the most about holding space for women during this journey?
You know, when I was like getting ready to come and talk to you about this, the story that came to mind was yours. And, you know, I've worked with lots of moms, and there's a point in every mom's pregnancy where they feel like they cannot do this anymore. And I remember, if I can share a little bit about your labor.
Course.
There was this moment when you were at your most intense in labor. And as a doula, like, I love that. I love it when I can see things building, and in your bubble of experience, like exactly where you should be is just right here. You're not really aware of where you're at in your labor. But as I'm watching you, I can see that you're progressing and things are getting more and more intense, and the world starts to go away and you're more and more just in this space. And when we can bring you into your center, you can harness this strength. So there was a moment in your labor where you hit that peak, you hit your edge. You're like, I can't do this anymore. I need pain medication. I can't have another contraction. You know, we talked about working through another one. I can't do another one. And when you're in between those contractions, you're like, okay, I think I can do it. But then it builds and it just takes you to your absolute edge. And my favorite point, and this is even with training people, is when you hit that edge and then you go past it and you realize that you can. And once you realize that you can do that, then all of a sudden now you have your baby. Or when we're talking about fitness, oh, this is so hard, I can't do this anymore. And then you get that self-confidence and you make those changes and you see those results in your body. And so like as a coach, both fitness and as a doula, my favorite is that moment when you've hit the edge and you've found that center place that, you know, of course you have to practice going to that place. Like you can't just reach it because you feel like reaching it. And like you put in all of that work. So you're able to go into that center and find that unique, one of a kind piece of power that you have inside of you. And every mom has it. Every mom has this point. And then they just blossom. And it's just smooth sailing from then. And even if it doesn't feel smooth in the moment, because labor is so hard. Hopefully when you look back at it and people that are like watching this process happen for you and supporting you through this process can see that shift. And it's like, that's my favorite. My absolute favorite.
Gosh, my labor with you was so hard and so painful, but it was also so beautiful. And I feel like your guidance and your words and, you know, like every contraction, I was dying. And I got to the point where I was like, give me the epidural. And of course, anesthesiologist was in a surgery, so that was not an option. So I'm like, no, I need it. It is an option. Fucking make it happen right now. Get it. Give me the epidural. And everyone was like, sorry, keep going. And then all of a sudden, the doctor was like, it's time to push. And I'm like, nope, not happening. Not with that epidural. And the doctor's like, yes, go now. And I'm like, I'm gonna die. But Jen kept bringing me back to focus. Come back to my breath. Come back to the pushing. Come back to the feeling sensations. Move with the contractions. Breathe with the contractions. And it's exactly what she was saying. Like, I'm at my edge and I think I can't do it. And then I bring myself back to center and I focus. I stop thinking of the fear. I focus on my power. I align with my body and I start flowing. And then the baby starts coming. And then I fucking do it.
Yeah.
And I did it.
Oh, I got chills just having you say that.
It's just such an incredible, proud moment when you literally feel like your body is going to break and crumble and disintegrate in the process. Like you're just going to explode. But you do it.
You do it. Because you can do it.
Because you can do it. And okay, I also want to make this very clear. There are some women out there that decide that motherhood is not for them. And that is beautiful in its own way. So beautiful in its own way. And I really want to honor that. Everybody has their own path. But I still believe that you can take these principles with pregnancy, the storm, the craziness of it, labor, the walking to the edge and pushing yourself past it, and postpartum, the initiation to becoming your best self. You can take all of this and bring it into any circumstance in life.
I mean, like every single one of us have had these times in our lives where we hit our lows and we hit our walls and we've lost our creativity and our inspiration. And we've, like wherever your path has gone, regardless of its motherhood or not, like obviously I love working in the birth world. So I'm super excited about motherhood, but like I didn't become a mom until my late 30s. Yeah. So like I lived my whole life, like not even really thinking about that and like living it. And of course, all of these principles where we're thinking about being in the discomfort of whatever it is that you're experiencing and breathing through it, meditating through it, finding the higher vibration through it, and then once you're on the other side of it, every single one of us can relate to this. When you're on the other side of that, there's this aha moment. There's never been a struggle that once you're on the other side of it, you don't realize the purpose of it. Yeah. But you can't know what the purpose is when you're in the middle of it, and that's part of being human, like you have to just trust that there is a higher purpose for your pain, and that's in pregnancy all the way through labor and postpartum. That's in life, right?
Ooh, I love it. I love this. So good. How important is it to exercise while pregnant? What can you do if you're too sick or tired to move your body?
So obviously exercise is going to benefit anybody. But one thing that's specific in pregnancy is learning how to give yourself grace and learning how to give yourself gentleness, right? And in our culture, in our world, like those aren't words that we kind of turn inward towards ourselves very often. Like maybe we give other people grace and maybe we're gentle with other people, but not very often are we with ourselves. And so if you go into pregnancy with this expectation, and again, I'm talking to you, so I'm going to use you as an example. Yeah. We were hitting fitness. We were hitting all these goals. You were stronger than ever. You were loving your body. Yeah. And now you get pregnant and you're like, I'm going to rock this pregnancy. I'm going to work out through my whole entire pregnancy and it's going to be amazing. But that didn't happen.
Did not happen.
And that's totally okay. And nothing bad happened as a consequence of that. No harm, only benefit. Yeah. But if you're not feeling that, what's more important is giving yourself the grace. So maybe that means resting. Like in the first trimester, people are so tired. So sleep.
So tired,
People, like if all you can do is stretch, then stretch. Yeah. If you can do a prenatal yoga, awesome, do it. But if you don't even have the energy for that, that's okay. Yeah. Like everything I truly believe is by design. So if your body is telling you, I don't have the energy to even take a walk right now, then sit.
Listen to
meditation. Yeah.
Yes, this is really the time to listen to your body.
It's like
your body is guiding you.
And you can like tap in. And you know, like going back to kind of how we were talking about like what we're missing in pregnancy is that tap in. We're so dependent on external information and like, what was your experience? Oh my God, that sounds so traumatic and that sounds so awful. And I don't want that to happen to me. Or my doctor is telling me that, you know, I'm at this advanced maternal age and I'm geriatric pregnancy. And, you know, like these words have meaning and they have like a feeling to them.
Yeah.
But like if you can tap into your body, whether that's I need meditation, I need rest, whether that's I am so sick, all I can eat are buttered noodles or something like that. Like it's all okay. Often in second trimester, so that's kind of when you started coming out, and it's pretty common for moms to kind of get this like new wind during their second trimester. Hormones kind of start chilling out a little bit. You know, maybe that's the time when you get more movement in. And then in your third trimester, focusing your movements on, you know, like pelvic floor health and hip mobility and stuff like that. So exercise doesn't have to look like I'm doing deadlifts and squats and like breaking a sweat. You know, exercise could look like I'm exercising my ability to tap into that center, because that's what you're going to really need. You know,
the time to exercise listening to yourself and your body. Your body really knows what it's doing during this time. It's really important to honor it and to release any form of guilt, judgment, comparison, and fucking just surrender. Gosh, I'm cussing a lot this episode. Surrender.
Maybe by design.
Surrender is the
Number one.
key. Let go of control, because you're not in control in this ceremony. Just like when you sit with plant medicine, you are not in control.
Yep. And the more you surrender, the more you're going to get out of it.
This is the real deal ceremony without an external source, you know, a medicine. This is it.
Yeah, it's not like this is a medicine is opening the veil, like your baby and you are opening the veil.
How important is diet during pregnancy?
So what I tell my clients, just to give them this peace of mind, like here's a fact. Your baby's going to be fine no matter what.
Yeah.
So again, everything by design. Your body has like a store of all the minerals and vitamins and nutrients that are going to go to your baby. So if you're feeling so sick and you're not able to eat, to like rest assured, right? Like find this peace that here's like a sacrifice. All of that is going to your baby. So your baby is going to be okay. And honestly, you're the one being depleted, but there can be peace in knowing like not having to worry about my baby. And you can just, you know, so like there's kind of like this baseline, like everything is okay. It's all by design. Now, ideally, you're going to be eating super well and super nourishing food, because that's going to nourish your body and your soul, right? So if you are feeling depleted, it's harder to access those higher vibrations. But baseline, your baby's okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, like Ayurvedic food is really great during pregnancy and postpartum because it's sort of designed. So they have like all these cookbooks and stuff, and there's even chefs that you can hire to help meal prep that are really designed to nourish you as much as possible, especially during that postpartum period. Obviously, prioritizing protein is really good, but can be really hard if you're not feeling good. But if you're feeling great, prioritizing protein, because that's like a building block, and that's going to help you and your baby.
So what if you have a really I didn't have a crazy craving this time. I don't remember with my first one, but what if you have a really crazy craving to just like eat ice cream all the time? Is that okay?
I mean, it's obviously like not the greatest thing in the world to eat ice cream all of the time, because it's got a lot of sugar and it's got a lot of this and that. But back to surrender.
Yeah,
surrender. You know, like it's not time to track your calories and your macronutrients, you know, like just surrender. And if all you want is like pickles and ice cream, like weird, okay, have some pickles and ice cream.
Yeah. But maybe eat organic ice cream.
Yeah, maybe try to make the best choices possible. Maybe be like, my treat at the end of the day is ice cream, and you have it every single night instead of like every single meal. Or maybe you put ice cream in your smoothie with lots of like vegetables and fiber and, you know, that kind of stuff, and like finding that balance. Always strive for organic and like eating the best that you can and finding balanced meals and stuff. Yeah. But you know, like pregnancy is like sometimes all you can do is have ice cream.
What natural or holistic remedies do you suggest to help with pain, nausea, discomfort, or anxiety during pregnancy?
So this is kind of exciting because I recently started getting into homeopathy, which is this like old kind of medicines, and it instead of like medicine, you can kind of think of it as remedies. And obviously, I will say that Western medicine and all of its wisdom has its place, 100%. But like, you know, I feel like a lot of this audience and, you know, like you and me, we really like to try to veer towards the more holistic options if we can. So finding a practitioner that uses those kind of remedies can be really helpful for like physical ailments in your body, as well as like anxiety and depression and, you know, fear. So there's lots of remedies that can kind of help you get into control of those things instead of having them control you. Things that you can do to keep yourself out of pain is like different movement patterns and learning what's happening in your body. So chiropractic care during pregnancy can be really beneficial. Acupuncture is
so
huge.
helpful.
You know, acupuncture is also really great for people that are trying to conceive. And let's see, there's a lot of resources out there for that. But I would say top are going to be chiropractic and acupuncture care. Prenatal massages are really nice. You know, just like give yourself a treat and like still maintain self-care.
Acupuncture was so helpful and so incredible and like so key to my pregnancy with nausea, morning sickness, and with pain and discomfort. So
yeah. And like with my pregnancy, acupuncture was like key for helping my ovulation. So people that are trying to conceive, acupuncture can really help for that.
Amazing.
And like, cause I had a couple of months where I wasn't ovulating. And then as soon as I started my acupuncture, then I started ovulating. So it can be even helpful for that. And then in my pregnancy, one of the things that kept me really pain-free was chiropractic care. And I would consistently go in and get these like micro adjustments. So when we think about chiropractic care, we think of like cracking your neck and like your back and stuff. But when we're talking about pregnancy chiropractic work, it's way more subtle and it's more in aligning your hips, which is really, really important for your baby to have optimal birthing position, as well as keeping you out of like pain. So like pain in your back or pain in your pubic bone, that can really help with that.
How can practices like meditation, breath work, visualization support the mind-body connection and create a deeper bond with mom and baby?
So it all starts, you know, like people conceive in two different ways. Oops, we're pregnant, or hey, let's get pregnant. And if you are in the, you know, second option of like having that conscious conception, you can connect with your baby's soul even before you conceive, right? And I know that you've experienced that. I've experienced that where we want this. And so we make that connection before it's physical. And you can do that through plant medicine. You can do that through meditation. So like even starting before you even conceive. And then you conceive and you're in that first trimester. And, you know, usually mamas aren't feeling the greatest.
Yeah.
So breath work can bring that peace and that homeostasis in your body, meditation. Then you get into that second trimester, and some point in the second trimester, you can start to feel your baby move. So you can use breath work. Like one of my favorite breaths is like this big 360 breathing, expanding your whole entire body, and then exhaling through your mouth and breathing out all the way and like wrapping around your baby. And you can kind of do it like a hug in your uterus and just
love that.
So you're like doing this breathwork practice, but you're also physically connecting to your baby, and then they'll kind of respond to you and like kick a little bit and like say, hey, what's going on? And so you can like physically connect to your baby all the whole while, you know, like your souls are intertwined before you even start building this body. And, so that connection can go all throughout. And then in your third trimester, that's when you really start popping and you have this big belly that you can rub and you can touch and you can talk to, and mom and dad can talk to the baby before they're even born, and they'll hear you. So when they are born, they recognize your voice.
Yeah.
So you can be connecting to them and talking to them and having these conversations with them, and, like what you're experiencing, they're also experiencing. So, say for example, you're driving along and somebody cuts you off and you have this big dump of adrenaline.
Yeah.
So they also experience that dump of adrenaline. And you can say, hey babe, like, it's okay. I just got really startled. We're safe and everything is okay. And you can be like already having that dialogue, and they'll respond to you because they hear you, but they also feel you. Say you're having grief and you're feeling so sad. You can just say, hey babe, everything's okay. I'm just feeling really sad today. And sometimes even just speaking that out loud to your baby can help you get over whatever it is that you're grieving, or you're feeling heartbroken, or you're feeling lonely, or all these feelings that we come up that we don't want our baby to feel. And it's okay, you're not failing at being a pregnant person for experiencing those kind of like lower feeling emotions, but sometimes speaking them out loud can help you to raise that vibration and just be like, hey, I'm still protecting you, even though I'm experiencing this, and I know through me you're experiencing this. That's also a part of life, and here's how we regulate. So mama's feeling really sad, and I'm going to talk about it for a little bit, and then we're going to go outside and go on a walk, and we're going to be out in the sunshine, and that always makes me feel better. And I'm just like narrating what is going on, but it's causing my like higher voice and this higher self to be the one communicating instead of this lower self that's like experiencing these hard emotions. And like,
I love that.
I definitely did that in my pregnancy. What about you?
Yeah, that's amazing and so beautiful. I'm a big meditator. I love meditation, especially during pregnancy. It's very special. Meditating and really stepping into your goddess creator self and claiming that you are playing a co-creator role in creating your child. And what I did was really visualizing, feeling, experiencing the connection I had with Zia, my child, before she entered in. As she was growing from the very early stages, and even before I got pregnant, I was already creating. I was already part of the process. I was connecting, visualizing, experiencing our life, our relationship, the way she was with her siblings, and how much my oldest daughter loved her, and how much my stepson loved her, and the amazing relationship she had with her father. And I was playing it all out.
Yeah, visualizing.
I think it's extremely important and very powerful to do that with intention. I mean, that's again with everything in life. Just really, it's intentional. It's ceremonial. It's sacred, and very empowering to really claim yourself to be your goddess self in creating your child. So it was a really beautiful experience, and I personally believe that my daughter is the way that she is because of the meditation visualization process. I truly, truly do believe that. Let's go back to the labor process. What are some ways a woman can prepare her body for labor? Physically, emotionally, and energetically?
All right, so the first thing that you want to do when you're preparing your body for labor is release all the fear that you have. And so, meditation keeps coming up as like a really valuable tool, but, if you're not a big meditator, breath work, journaling, going to therapy, talking to your support group, your partner, your best friend, and if anything is coming up that is causing you fear or dread, then we need to work through that, because that's what's going to hold tension in your body. And what we need to do is completely release all of that. So as simple as it sounds, creating a place of being at peace and feeling safe and supported is actually an experience that we don't really pay attention to. Are we feeling at peace? Do we feel safe in this? And that's a huge preparation that somebody can do. Of course, there are physical things that you can do in your body, but if we go into labor with a lot of fear, and that could be something from, I'm afraid of losing who I am, I'm afraid of tearing, I'm afraid that I can't do this, I'm afraid, whatever that might be. That's going to be the biggest hurdle to get over. Because if you're holding on to fear, then you're not feeling safe. And feeling safe, like even if you look at the animal kingdom, an animal is going to, when they're ready to give birth, they're going to go to some place that they know is going to be safe. Otherwise, labor will halt and they won't go into labor. So that can start anywhere in your pregnancy, and just like honoring those feelings and working through them.
So the more that we can stop resisting and just trusting and allowing and trusting the process, even when it's painful, scary, hard, really getting into a place of whatever comes my way, I can handle it.
Absolutely. Because like things are going to come up that are going to feel scary or are going to be harder than you ever could imagine. But just having that trust in your body that you can make it through that, and that this is safe. Pregnancy is safe, birth is safe. And wherever you're giving birth, so whether that's at home, at a birth center, or at a hospital, like hopefully you made that decision based on where you feel the most safe. And, like that's where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. What's the importance of having a super solid team with you?
So we're not supposed to do this alone. We're not supposed to do any of this alone. We're designed to do this in community and do this together. And that's how we've done this all throughout time. And we just so happen to be in this like small bubble of time where, especially with like COVID, like moms weren't even allowed to have somebody in the room with that.
Oh my gosh.
Like we went to this extreme of isolation, which is really not how we're supposed to do this. So it is so important to have that team, and obviously having a doula is like having a professional come in and help prepare everybody for that. But if that's not the path that you want to go down, and having somebody outside coming in and being a doula, and you just want your like little support team, there's childbirth education classes that are really beneficial, so that both people are coming into this prepared of like what's gonna happen and how can I be supportive during this. People that don't have that support, they go into that place of fear because you're alone and you're not supposed to be alone. So like midwives can be really beneficial because they can kind of come in, and every midwife I've ever met has like a really calming energy when it comes to birth and just make you feel really safe. Like, hey, everything's okay and I got you if something's wrong. Having your support person being there, being that you're the father or your partner or your best friend, gives you that history of support. So that's your pillar. That's that person that you're going to take their hand when you need something, and you're going to get the power of their presence from that. And then the doula is going to be, hey, like, I'm going to help you breathe through this. I'm going to help direct how things are going. If we need a position change, I'm going to put you in a different position to help labor continue. Like that's kind of that expertise that's going to come in when, when you're in labor and we need to try these different positions to help your baby descend deeper so that you can push your baby out. And when is it time to push? And I need reminders of breathing and, help me like go into like a meditation state so that I can relax my body in between contractions.
Right. This woman over here
can do a lot.
This woman over here had me in so many positions while I was in labor, and it was super helpful. So helpful. And every contraction, like, ah! And she's like, okay, stand up. Jedi, which is my partner, put her in this position. Put your hands right here. I'm going to squeeze your hips. I'm going to press on this part. And it, again, was an absolute game changer compared to my first pregnancy or my first labor. I couldn't get off the bed. And I didn't have encouragement or guidance to get off the bed. And with you, moving around. He told me to go get in the hot shower. My fiance took me in the shower. Like, just, it's can be so helpful.
Like, what do I do?
Having the proper guidance. Now, with that being said, doulas and midwives can be expensive.
Yeah.
If somebody can't afford a midwife or a doula, can you get a doula and a midwife through an insurance company?
So doulas are very
what are the resources?
being covered under insurances.
Great.
So that is huge game changer. And like, while we're recording this right now, we're in the midst of making this transition. So it's very, very new. Like, we're talking, the last 6 months or so. This has been starting to, different insurances are starting to cover doulas. And not every doula is under insurances yet.
Yeah.
So it's still, we're in this transition process, but you can absolutely find a doula. Medicare covers doulas.
Oh, great.
You can find a doula in that way.
We're talking about California, so you obviously have to figure out what is available
in your state, like what is available. But it's starting to be more accessible to people. Like, hospitals are covering doulas. So it's still being ironed out, but it's becoming more available.
You live in the middle of nowhere, and you don't know any doulas, you don't know any midwives, but you're listening to this podcast, watching this podcast. What are some resources maybe that can help their partner put them in certain positions during labor, or to use certain guided meditations during labor, or, setting the right mood with the certain frequencies of music?
Yeah, so YouTube is like such a grand source of like all kinds of information, and there's a lot of doulas on Instagram too, sharing lots of different comfort measures and different strategies. And then you can always get books and stuff. Finding an online childbirth education course where they go over comfort measures, which is really important. It's not just about like the logistics and physical aspects of like what's happening during birth. Like, comfort measures are like what you're talking about. So we can do those hands-on stuff. We can have a list and a plan of all these things to try during labor to number one, pass time, because labor takes time. So like, getting in the shower is a place where you can relax your body and have time pass, because a lot of it's a waiting game. Like, your body is working to open your cervix and dilate so that you can push this baby out, but it takes time. And then, like, for the people that are listening, like, comment below of like where you are, and we can like send you resources.
That's a good idea. I love that.
Yeah, because there are, even if you are super remote, like, there are things that are specific to you that me and Mary Beth can help guide you to find the right help that you need. Because it definitely makes a big difference.
I love that. So you said comfort measures is one thing to look up that's really important. And that is the different positions that your partner or your mother or your best friend can put you in.
Yep. So there are different like hands-on things that we can do, or there's like ambiance, like flameless candles, like lighting the space and giving you, instead of like harsh lighting, giving you something that feels more peaceful, or your favorite playlist. Like, I always have my clients come up with 2 different ones. It's something that's like spa music, something super relaxing, and then something that's like, okay, we need a little bit more energy in the room right now. Like, what are your jams? And I remember like you guys put on Sade, and I was like, oh yeah, that is the mood. And then you took a nap. So like, sometimes you need rest, you need that music. So setting the stage. I know that a lot of people use aromatherapy, which can be really nice to help, like lavender to relax your body and stuff. My one tip on that would be, don't diffuse it into the room, but rather like put it like something close to you, like on a rag that you can remove, because sometimes your senses get really intense. And so like, you might be liking this lavender and then all of a sudden, get it away from me. So it's a lot harder to like clear the air than it is to like remove something. But aromatherapy can be really good for that too. But yeah, looking up those comfort measures. And if you're able to take an actual hands-on class, so somebody can like show you and like practice with you at the very least. And, some insurances will cover that as well.
Amazing. What's the importance of a woman staying connected to her body's wisdom and intuition with so many external voices around her?
Well, it comes back to this like trust that you have in your body. So if you truly trust that your body knows what to do and that you have an intuition that you can follow, that can make a really big difference in how your pregnancy and your labor goes. Now, there are circumstances where you definitely need that external help and that external guidance. So like preeclampsia or gestational diabetes, and there's these clinical issues that happen to some women during pregnancy where you absolutely need that outside help. But for the most part, if you have just a healthy pregnancy, you can just have this healthy birth. And I want to also say, like, a natural birth is super awesome. And I said earlier in the podcast, like, I really love it when people have these natural births because I get to see this, like, animalistic mama come out and you're becoming this, like, raw, authentic, powerful powerhouse of yourself. But, like, sometimes you need that epidural. And there are many, many reasons of why that's beneficial. And it is not ever a wrong choice. It's just going to take you down a little bit of a different path. So even if you did decide, like, hey, that natural birth is not for me, like, I don't want to experience that level of discomfort, and you call for that epidural, like, you can still stay tapped into your body. And as a doula, and from being at many births, if you do decide to, you know, like, go in this more medical route and, like, have that help that is totally there for you and can help you so, so much, I've seen the difference. And the key is stay present in your labor. So just because you're not experiencing the intensity of your labor anymore and you're able to relax and rest and all that stuff, that's excellent. And you can get on your phone and you can, like, contact your family and give them updates and stuff. Cool, take that little break. But, like, come back because although your body is going to get this baby out, and if you want to be super passive in that, like, it'll still happen. But you can still stay connected to your body and the wisdom of your body, even if you decide on an epidural. And that's what's super important for people to know. Like, I'm not over here preaching that a natural birth is the way to go. Like, it's awesome. And it's definitely a lot of people's choice, but it's not everybody's choice. And you can still have a very spiritual, meaningful birth and use that portal and go through that rite of passage, just becoming a mother and birthing your child in any form, even if it's you know, through cesarean. So, like, my birth ended in an emergency cesarean, and my birth was just as magical as if it went with my plan of having a home birth. You know, like, it didn't take the magic away. And yeah, there was, like, trauma that I had to, like, work through and process, but you know, birth is magical no matter how it plays out, you know, and that's super key. And there's that like intuition in your body, and the external voices can, you know, like, tell you so many things during your pregnancy, how your birth was supposed to go, how their birth went compared to how yours went. Like, birth is magic no matter how it happens. And there's, like, a really deep wisdom in, like, sitting with that and believing that. Because we like to compare ourselves, you know.
Well said. Let's go back to postpartum. What if we viewed postpartum anxiety and depression as an initiation instead of something is wrong with us? We kind of touched on this earlier, but let's talk about this a little bit more, because I think it's really important. It's postpartum anxiety and depression is extremely challenging. And I'd say probably every woman that is encountering it and experiencing it is wanting it to go away and wanting it to be done with and wanting to figure out how to feel like herself again. And, you know, I know for me, like, I'm like, okay, I need to get, this isn't me. I don't want to feel this way. I've done this work. Like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to feel this way. Let me figure out how to get out of it. Going to a naturopath, getting blood work done, figuring out why my hormones are so out of balance. I'm deficient in this, I'm deficient in this, I'm deficient in this, and I'm deficient in this. Now, I'm not saying that's not a good thing to know, but once I got all this done, and after my naturopath prescribed me many supplements, I mean, a huge list of supplements to get my hormones to rebalance, I had this aha moment in meditation. Wait a second. What if my body knew exactly what it was doing? What if my hormones are supposed to be out of balance right now? So I could continue to have all of my fears, limiting beliefs, traumas, this, that, to come up because I'm not done. Mm-hmm. It's not time. I'm still in the initiation process. So it's time to just surrender. Take the things like the magnesium and the ashwagandha and the prenatals and the things honestly are going to support my body. But trying to force my body to get out of the place that it's supposed to be in, exactly where it's supposed to be on the journey, there's a higher way of going about it.
Yeah, and I think that part of that way is getting your ego out of the way. So one thing that, you know, everybody experiences, like what you're talking about, is like wherever you are at on that postpartum, like whether it's the depression or anxiety or loneliness or physical recovery or exhaustion from lack of sleep or whatever that is that makes that postpartum time so challenging, is I'm not supposed to be here. Right. You know, that's kind of like what we're talking. And like, yeah, a naturopath is a great resource. And sometimes your hormones are out of balance and your chemicals in your brains are out of balance, and those things can help you. Mm-hmm. But there also is, you know, like there's no wrong. It's not wrong.
Of course, no
but
wrong.
There also is this surrendering and accepting, you know, like in your whole pregnancy and your postpartum, like the theme for you, which can be for everyone if they decide to look at it through this lens, is this is an opportunity for me to let go of what I've been carrying that's no longer serving me, and to make space and open up for this person that I'm going to be. And like that's part of motherhood, you know, and postpartum is hard because it's that final last thing of like, oh, you thought you were done and you get to meet your baby. Well, the benefit is that, yeah, you are more in love than you've ever been in your whole entire life. And now you're dealing with all of these things. And, you know, like some bonding takes even a long time, and that's also okay. You know, like maybe there's a lesson there. I would say that the underlying thing, kind of circling back around, is that like, what's your ego telling you that you're supposed to be? And time to break that down, and you're supposed to be whenever you are, and wherever you are, you know, and then there's that lesson from that. And, you know, like support during the postpartum time is really important. So yeah, you have that professional support. You've got, you know, people that you can talk to. You can talk to therapists, you can talk to your best friend, all that kind of stuff. You can go to the naturopath and you can work on getting your hormones. You can, you know, like some mamas need to get on SSRIs to like help get their brain out of this fog. But the thing is surrendering that like, oh, I'm fine, or I'm supposed to be fine. I don't need anybody's help. Like, I don't need, you know, like everybody's journey is super different. So I want to share like this, mom that I had been working with, who had a medical background and had a very challenging birth and a very challenging postpartum, but was ashamed to admit that it was hard. And there's her personal experience there where it's okay to accept the help from the people that love you and that want to help you. You know, and like that was her journey of like, I need to have this aha moment that I don't have to be a warrior. I can be somebody that receives love and care. Mm-hmm. And I don't have to be the one giving the love and care. You know, so like every human is different. Every birth is different, even with the same mother. And so those different lessons, like whatever you're supposed to learn, are going to be like put in your face. Yeah. You know, and you got to just, with the support that you have, figure that out.
So how can community, family help support the mother and the family during this time? Like a meal train. Can you
Yeah.
give some guidance on that?
Meal trains are the best for that first couple
What's a
of
meal
weeks.
train?
Meal train. It's this thing that you can set up where you can send this link out to your community, so your friends, your family, even if they're far, and they can donate to DoorDash or, you know, send you food or make you food and deliver it to your doorstep, just to give you that nourishment, so it's something that's off your plate so that you can focus on bonding and integrating as a family and healing and recovering, and that doesn't have to be on your list of things to do.
So
That's
you say
huge.
for like the first few weeks, set up to organize a meal train for the family.
Mm-hmm.
That every day we know, or maybe not every day,
Like every other day.
yeah,
or
a
something.
few days out of the week, the family is taken care of, where they don't have to worry about or think about the next meal.
Yeah. And like for those people that don't have a community, and like maybe they're really rural, or, you know, you're in a new place and you don't have that community, then like doing meal prep in your third trimester is really nice. Like you can go on Pinterest and look up freezer bag meals. It's my favorite.
Oh.
And you can just like prep all these meals that are in these like Ziploc freezer bags, so they stack nice in your freezer, and then you just pull one out and put it in the crock pot, and it's like quicker. And then, you know, then you've got that again off your plate. You don't really have to think about it. And, you know, the other part too is like, it's okay. So say you do have a bunch of community around. So this was me. I really, after I had my son, like I just really kind of wanted to be in my bubble. And like I had my close people come and give me that love and support, and like a shoulder to cry on when I was feeling weepy, and some people to come and hold my baby and let me like feel the pride of like what I've done, you know. But for like a week I was kind of like, hey, for those people that aren't in my like super tight circle, like just leave it on the porch, we're taking a nap. And like kind of coming up with that response of like, hey, text before you come over, and if you want to bring something you can leave it on the porch. And it's like, that's fine to honor too. Like we talk about, oh yeah, accept all the help from your community, but you know, everybody's little integration journey is different too, you know.
Absolutely. Okay, well, thank you so much for giving all this wisdom and advice, and hopefully this is helpful for all the mamas or desiring to be mamas or already mamas out there, or just educational. If you could offer one piece of wisdom to a woman preparing for or already on this journey, what would it be?
If you are preparing or on this journey, just like tap into yourself, you know, like let's like open your mind. And pregnancy is so many things. It's physical, it's spiritual, it's mental, it's scary, it's hard, it's painful, it's exciting, it's all these things. And let it be all of those things, and then curate your experience. So if you're feeling super nauseous, or if you're feeling like you're thriving, you know, like all of it is supposed to be the way that it is. So like trying to force something isn't really the way to go, but like we were talking about, like visualizing and curating your experience in the sense of, this is what's happening to me and here's how I feel about it. Here's what I'm going to do about it. I'm going to sit and I'm going to breathe, or I'm going to go on a walk, or I'm going to call my mom, or I'm going to, you know, do all of those things. So I guess the point of what I'm saying is, if you are anywhere on this process, know that there is more than you know. And there's more to experience than you can imagine. And like, get excited about it, because it's amazing. You can call your baby in. You can connect with your baby while your baby's inside of you. You can learn from your challenges postpartum, or even like at any point. It's
the time to let go and surrender.
Yeah.
Let go of control.
Grow, let go, surrender. Let it be more than you thought it was going to be.
And beautiful. Thank you so much for this conversation. That's a very important conversation to me. You know, again, recently getting out of postpartum, on the tail end of it. Mm-hmm. I just really wanted to help any woman out there struggling with any of the things that I went through during my whole journey So where can people connect with you, work with you if they want to?
So my website is hivebodyfitness.com, and there you can see everything that I do, like doula-wise or fitness-wise or any kind of combination of that. And I'm on Instagram under same handle, so Hive Body Life, or my personal one is Miss Jen, and that's kind of where I share more of my like personal journey. And reach out with questions, reach out for the desire for resources. Is this normal is one of my favorite questions that I get from people. Here to help, however, whether it's like in person or just chatting online.
Great. We'll make sure to put your website link in the descriptions and all the ways to connect with you so people can reach out and work with you if they want. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. I hope this was an inspiring, uplifting, empowering episode. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.